Yeah, it's the Ringside Report MMA 2023 year in review. Let's review the year.
Let's go!
Because that's what you do at a year in review. You review the year. Hello, friends.
Ho, 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 you motherfuckers.
Wow, right off the bat, coming in hot, AJ. Take it easy.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm like an elf on crack, man, tonight. I'm angry.
All right. Well,
I'm an angry elf.
We'll try and lift your spirits, little elf. Little Elfie D'Alessio over there.
Man.
Fred, you doing well? I mean, I saw you not long ago, Fred, so, I mean.
I'm pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Freddie's got a new haircut, too, man. I noticed from here. Look at that.
Looking fresh for the holidays.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
He shaved head, man. He's looking good. Dave, too, man. He's got the coif, man. Look at this guy. You got the, I was going to say, not the Bruce Willis, but what the hell's that other guy? The Brad Pitt. You look like the Brad Pitt, man.
I look like the Brad Pitt.
He's 60 years old.
I was going to say Jason, what's his name? Jason Statham or whatever.
Jason Statham, Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
I mean, these are all not bad.
Freddie is
Jason
Statham,
I'll take it,
Dave
guys.
is like not Bruce Willis, freaking Brad Pitt.
Wow.
And you know what? He turned 60 years old this week. You know that freaking Brad Pitt is 60 years old. That's not a good sign for me, man. You know, if Brad is 60, not looking good.
Well, he's. I don't think he's natural. I think he's taken some stuff. I think he's done some stuff to keep himself looking the way he has.
What?
You know, the guy is
blood of
very
children?
rich. He can afford all sorts of weird things. I'm not talking about adrenochrome, AJ. You silly man. My God.
Those
That's not
vampires
real,
of Hollywood.
AJ. That is not a
No,
real thing.
that shit's real, dude. That shit's real, man.
All right,
Trust
AJ.
me.
Stop. Stop. That's
Freddie knows.
ridiculous.
Freddie knows.
Freddie knows how ridiculous you are.
Don't bring
the man
me
in
down
this,
with you.
The man, yeah. Don't bring Fred down your rabbit hole of nonsense, AJ, in that hat, looking
I'm
ridiculous.
telling
Shout out to Angelo. Shout out to Helium Siam, Miss Brooklyn Lizard, 12-15%, Woods MMA UK. Everybody checking us out on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and of course on Rumble. I see my man Jerry G69 says he made some money with Ringside at Bet99.
Yes.
So congratulations to you, Jerry. We're all cashing in at Bet99 these days. The Team Dave parlay won 2 weeks in a row. I gave you a 4-fight parlay 2 weeks ago for the fight night. Last week we gave you a 3-fight parlay that won again. I've been on a roll, and I'm a little disappointed now because we got a long break until the next UFC. Next UFC event is not until January the 13th, guys. We have several weeks of no UFC action, and I was on a roll. I wanted to gamble, you know. We had UFC 296 last weekend, and now we're coming up to the holiday season. Of course, this is going to be our last show, not only before Christmas, but also before New Year's. You may wonder, why are we doing the year in review now? It's the 21st of December. The reason we're doing it is because I'm going to be in Laval, Quebec next week watching the WWE live on Thursday night. Next Thursday, December 28th, the WWE is coming to town. So I'm going to go with
little guy.
my son and my brother, and we're going to watch Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest and a bunch of other Raw superstars, Seth Rollins. I'm hoping for a surprise appearance from CM Punk, but I don't think that's going to happen.
You never know, Dave.
Yeah,
he loves Montreal, man. CM Punk loves Montreal.
They would advertise him to sell tickets. I mean, there's no reason to just throw him out there.
If you're lucky, you'll get R-Truth. You'll be in Damian Priest's corner. That's right.
Is that the case? I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I'm speculating. But isn't he part of what's the group of Damian Priest?
The Judgment Day.
The Judgment Day. Isn't R-Truth a Judgment Day member now?
I don't think he's officially a Judgment Day member, but he did win a match to get into the Judgment Day. So I guess, I mean, in his mind, he's in the Judgment Day. I would like to see R-Truth. I like R-Truth. I'll be satisfied with Cody, and I mean, that's it. It's a Raw house show. It's not a SmackDown house show, so there's no LA Knight. There's no Randy Orton. There's no Roman Reigns. And the big star, really, that's driving Raw these days is CM Punk, and I don't think he's going to be there. He wasn't even on Raw this week.
Is he still hated? What's going on, man?
Don't worry about
Poor
it. We'll talk
CM,
about
man.
CM Punk tomorrow night on Wrestling Uncensored, the triumphant return of Wrestling Uncensored, because, of course, last week we didn't have a Wrestling Uncensored because I was at another event, the Great Quintet Jiu-Jitsu event. Freddie and AJ were there with me. I keep missing shows because of events. Very unlike me to not do shows and go out to things, but it just so happens that there are jiu-jitsu and pro wrestling things that I want to attend.
You're like a big star, man.
Wouldn't say
Invited
that.
everywhere, man.
I mean, these are tickets that I purchased. I haven't really been invited anywhere.
Dude, you had to say that. You could have been like, just roll with me, man, sometimes.
I keep it real. I keep it 100, AJ. I'm not messing around. Come on.
Anyways,
and
it
that's
was a
why we
great
win.
event.
And that's why we win, because we keep it real on the Ringside Report Network. That's
Keep
why
it
we're
real.
victorious,
Keep it real.
because we're smart, because we keep it real, and we don't lie. Like Angelo Contagona says, Dave never disappoints. Correct.
That's true. Well, let's see. You got to ask his wife. But anyways, other than that,
I mean,
I'm going to say...
she's been with me for a long time, AJ. Ask yourself why.
It was just too much of an easy
Okay.
setup. I had to throw it in.
I mean,
Hey, listen, I want to give a shout out to your buddy, first of all, because I have to, because I said I was going to do it to your buddy, Alan, man. Like, shout out to the Rocket, man. Alan, man. He's going to be in the next quintet. I'm going to push for it.
no shout out to Alan. He beat me up today.
Why?
No shout out to Alan.
Did he? Again?
Oh,
The kid's
all
a
the
beast,
time.
man.
What do you mean? Again?
Jesus.
Every time we roll, it's like, yeah, he's gonna win. I know what's gonna happen.
And listen, small world, man. Like, you know, Freddie, I don't know if you know the whole story. I think, like, the whole thing where somebody came up to me and was talking to a friend saying we were at the show and whatever. And then my name came up as Anthony, and he's like, wait, what are you talking about? With Dave Simon? It was like AJ, and he's like, I met AJ on Friday night. And shout out to Zachary and Alain. We're good friends. Zachary's a good friend of mine, colleague of mine, not knowing that they are friends. Let me tell you, man, Zachary is no small guy. He's a beast. He's a big boy. I call him the Gladiator. And he's got to start learning jiu-jitsu. I taught him a bit, like, we did a little bit of wrestling. The kid is super strong, super young, but he's got to put it to practice. Pushing weights is not enough. You got to do something with pushing weights.
All right.
Wrestling,
AJ,
jiu-jitsu,
motivational
boxing, I don't
AJ
care
has
what it
come
is.
through for some reason. I'm not sure why this is happening on the show at this
Anthony
point.
Robbins.
Not
Oh, shit,
part
talk
of
about
the
Anthony
plan
Robbins.
of the show.
Wait, let me
I
get
do
some-
have
let me
a
get
big I do have a big plan for the show. I am coming through. I have a lot of prepared things for the show for the year in review. I don't know why he's showing some sort of letter
Anthony
that we
Robbins,
can't
man.
really see. You got a
Can't
letter
you?
from Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker. That's nice.
Back in 1993, man. You imagine
That's
that?
great. I can imagine it. 1993, I was in like the second grade.
In 1993,
You were a
I was trying
fully
to sell him
grown
the
man,
shampoo,
like
man.
with a
I was trying
job,
to show
doing
him, yeah.
things, married, probably.
Listen, man, I
Just-
spent some time with Anthony Robbins, a couple hours together, just chatting away, man. He was awesome guy. Motivational speaker.
I mean,
Shampoo.
Dave,
What?
like, I'm sorry to do this to you, but
Do it.
if you were in second grade in 93, that meant that you probably had to be held back a lot, man.
Okay,
'cause
maybe
that
I was
doesn't
in-
sound right.
Maybe I was in the third grade. I mean, no,
'Cause I mean,
I'm-
I fucking graduated high school in 94, man. How the fucking that be like?
I
But
graduated
don't
Dave's
have
a
that much-
spring chicken, Freddie.
because I
Don't
graduated
kid
high
yourself.
school in 2003. Fred.
Jesus, 2003, I was rocking and rolling, man, at that time.
I mean,
All right, man. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm old also.
Fred's like, wait a second. I'm like, yeah. I mean, that's I think about right. I think
But
I
I'm
started-
like,
I might have been in
you're-
the third grade, possibly
What?
You're born in.
Third grade.
85. Are we getting? Why are we?
Jesus, man. And I
Yeah,
was like yamming
you're
with
a
like,
little.
Anthony Robbins.
What?
Jesus.
Fred, does my math work? I'm not sure. I don't even know.
Well, listen, man.
Let's check. Let's
1993
start
was
the
the
review.
listen. Wasn't
Yeah.
that part of the first UFC was 93, right? Hey, Dave.
I mean, you
93
were
was
8,
the first
man,
UFC.
so that means you were probably like in the
Third grade.
third grade. Yeah.
Yeah, probably in the third
So
grade.
you didn't see the first UFC, dude. That's crazy. I was there. I watched it, man. I saw it live. 1993.
Yeah, no, I was a kid
Who's
when
that
that
skinny
happened.
kid coming? Hoist Gracie.
The first UFC I saw, I know though, I was in elementary school when I saw UFC. I sought it out because I saw Ken
What?
Shamrock and Dan Severn in WWF, and they were telling me that Ken Shamrock was the world's most dangerous man, and he did this stuff in UFC, this thing called UFC, and it was real fighting. And I went and I got a VHS video at a place called Video Daisy. Old school NDG people might know what I'm talking about. AJ, you remember Video Daisy? It was on the corner of Beaconsfield and Sherbrooke.
Yeah, I forgot about that, man. That's crazy.
I used to live on that block, so I would just go up the block and I would rent videos. And I got a UFC, and I think it was Ken Shamrock versus Dan Severn, and it was the most boring fight I'd ever seen in my life. They didn't do anything. They circled for like 30 minutes, and it was terrible. And I was like, oh, I guess real fighting is boring. So I didn't watch it again till like Brock Lesnar. I was like, this sucks. You know? I wasn't
Crazy,
into it.
eh?
Yeah. Shows you one bad fight can really turn off a potential fan. I was a potential fan. I could have been a fan in, 95 or 96, whenever that was, when Shamrock started in WWF. And Dan Severn was in WWF too.
Oof, the beast, man.
Yeah.
What a unbelievable. He looks great today, man.
Yeah. So does Ken Shamrock, man. I mean, he looks good.
Yep.
For
He came
a
to
man
Montreal
his
last
age,
year,
who's been through what he's been through. Okay, guys. First, before we get to the year in review, I want to quickly talk about Leon Edwards. There's been a little bit of controversy on who he should fight next. The world seems to say Bilal Muhammad, right? Because he's on a huge win streak and and he deserves it. I think it should be Shavkat Rakhmonov because he's clearly the best. And other people, even Leon's coach, is like, oh, maybe Gilbert Burns, maybe this, maybe that, but probably Bilal. So it looks like Bilal, but there's some
Let me tell you why
uncertainty.
This is the problem with Shakhtar. I would pick him, but the thing is he took this fight against Wonderboy with a bad knee that needs surgery. So I want him to be 100% when he fights for the title, man. Take a couple of months off, get that surgery done on your knee, rehab it, and in the meantime, Bilal gets the title shot. That's what I would do. And I don't agree for Gilbert Burns. He lost to Bilal. That's ridiculous.
I agree. Yeah. I think Bilal is I think Bilal is probably the next fight. The problem is, I don't think you could really main event a pay-per-view with Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards. I don't think anybody cares.
Yeah, it's not the most.
I mean,
exciting
they've done
fight,
pay-per-views with Amanda Nunes and other. Like, yeah, it won't be a huge hit, but it's just one of those ones, man.
They got to stack the undercard. That's one of those that also won't be in Vegas.
Two title fight pay-per-view. Maybe, mix it up with another title fight.
It won't be in Vegas. That's my prediction. They'll put it somewhere else, like another market. It won't be in Vegas. It won't be in New York. It might be in like Florida. They might do it in Miami.
Florida.
They might do it in England, for Leon.
That makes sense.
I think they're going to do the pay-per-view outside of Vegas or New York. It's not going to be in one of the big fight markets because they're going to want to sell tickets, and you could sell tickets easier for a UFC title fight when you do a UFC pay-per-view in a market outside of Vegas and New York, because it's like a novelty of like, oh, look, there's a pay-per-view coming to my town. So people are going to buy tickets for that. You're seeing that in Toronto. Tickets are overpriced, but I think they're selling. I don't think they're having problems selling that UFC 297. Tickets were crazy expensive. I remember we looked at it when they went on sale. You remember that? Crazy expensive for those tickets.
I think the nosebleeds were like at about $200, if I'm not mistaken.
I feel like it was more.
Yeah, I mean it's up there, man. Like $200 for nosebleeds. I mean, man, it's rough, man. But Toronto has a lot of money, much more than Montreal, that's for sure.
Sure. Tickets in like the lower bowl right now, you could get for $1,000 a piece in the lower bowl. I mean, not even on the floor. Floor tickets right now going for $5,000 and $3,000. some for $3,000. And yeah, tickets up top are $800. I'm trying to find the cheapest ticket possible is $553.
Get the hell out of here. $500 for the cheapest?
I mean, I'm not lying.
Jeez, that's crazy, man. I mean, even $200 is ridiculous.
Look, so $553 right now, plus. I mean, it's going to wind up costing you more, right? With taxes.
Yeah, about $88, so about $600 something dollars.
And the tickets are like they're not great.
I mean, we're not doing them a service by like saying that.
They're way up here. Right? It's like way up there.
That's where I went
for. And that's the
like
cheapest
UFC
ticket in the house right now for that event. So it works for them. It works for them. I mean, it's working though. But I mean, they have sold a bunch of tickets. Like if you look, the building is mostly sold.
But that can work in Toronto, like I said. But that wouldn't work in Montreal. Like if you're gonna sell a nosebleed for $500 in Montreal, let's be honest, that shit's not happening.
That's why they're not coming back to Montreal.
That's why they're not coming back. But that's a crazy night at the casual sport, man, with your buddies going local and paying for everybody for $500. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Toronto has the money to be able to afford nosebleeds for $500 and ground tickets for $5,000. You know, and it's a shame because we have a great fighting population here in Quebec. Some of the best fighters have come out of Quebec and still fighting in the UFC today. You know, Jourdain, you name it, man. There's so many guys. But the thing is that how are you going to be able to sell $500 for a nosebleed in Montreal? It's not going to happen, and it's a shame, man.
How about this? Octagon side, 2 tickets right now available, $10,000 each. Let's go, AJ.
Well, listen, if I was Jake Paul, man, I'd drop it in a bucket. You know, if I was Sean Strickland now that went from rags to riches.
Sean Strickland and Dracus.
Dracus, I look, if I had the big bucks, maybe we'll be there with Ringside Report. You know, we need the support of like another million fans. But the thing is this.
Hit us up on Super Chat. We need $20,000 for AJ to go ringside for the UFC. If we make that Super Chat tonight, I'll give it to AJ, and he can take whoever he wants.
Listen, you get me ringside, I'll make sure that I got the ringside shirt on, and I will get thrown out. I'll do the same thing with Strickland. You tell me who to attack, and I'll do it.
Here's the joke, AJ.
Khabib, you want me to attack George? I'm going to do it, dude. If it's for the ratings, I'm going to do it.
Here's the big joke about it, AJ, is that we might be able to get in for free.
So let's do it. What the hell are you doing then?
I don't want to go to Toronto. I'm not trying to go to Toronto.
Dude, I want to go to Toronto. I want to go to Toronto now, man.
I'm good.
They have the best hot dogs. They have like street meat and all that. It's great, man. Let's go to Toronto. We get to see Antoinette.
I don't want to go to Toronto in January.
You could go to Gretzky's restaurant if it's still open.
Not.
Angelo knows.
Okay. So Bilal probably will get the title shot, but I think, Shavkat is just it's a matter of time. And I don't like waiting around for that type of thing. I just think, hey, why are we waiting? We see this guy. He's awesome. We don't think he can lose. He's beating everybody by knockout or submission in every single fight. He's won all his fights. No one's really testing him. He just fought Wonder Boy. Dude. He just smashed Wonder Boy. First person to ever submit Wonder Boy. Like,
is that crazy?
What are we waiting for? That's the thing. And we played the same game with Khabib. For years, Khabib was clearly the number one guy at 155, and they just kind of waited and had him fight this guy and that guy. And Khabib had some weight-cutting issues for a couple key fights that could have shot him up the ladder a little quicker. But still, I don't like playing that game. And we're going to talk about that when we preview the year. We've got a preview for 2024, and we're going to look back on what our predictions were for 2023 and see how wrong we were in so many ways, which is kind of funny.
But you know what? You're talking about
we could actually start. We could start with that if you want.
Yeah, you don't mind, because if you don't mind me jumping in on that, like, listen, I think Bilal, like you were saying, okay, would be the possible next fight, but it's definitely not the most entertaining fight, and it's not going to be the biggest draw fight. But when you look at Shavkat, and I know you're going to go through like the submissions of the year and all the rest of that, But Shafkat is there. When you're looking at the best submissions of the year for 2023, in my opinion, you got Shafkat there. When you look at the best fights of 2023, Shafkat is there. He's got all the credentials to be that big fight next, in my opinion. He's doing what he needs to do, not only winning, but he's there on the top 3, the top 5 of the best of whatever. This kid is going to be, in my opinion, probably the fighter of the year for 2024 and probably the champion of the year by the time we talk again next year at this time. That's my prediction.
Shout out to Grimskull dropping the super chat. He says, here is something towards that 20K. Thank you, Grimskull. Check out the Grimskull YouTube channel.
Thanks, brother.
Great stuff there. Thank
we love
you,
you,
Grimskull.
man. Thank you very much.
We're getting
close,
AJ.
man. We're 20 bucks
close.
away.
There you go.
I swear to God. Listen, Grimskull, if we get the 20 grand, you tell me who to attack, I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm going to probably end up in the hospital, but it doesn't matter. It's for the ratings.
What are you,
Dave
Sean
knows.
Strickland?
I'm going to do the
Stop
Sean
that, AJ.
Strickland right
That's
away.
stupid.
No, I'm going to do it, dude. I'm telling you. If you run on the field naked like in soccer with the name www.ringsidereport.net, I support it. And I'm going to do it at the Octagon, man.
I don't endorse that. I don't think you should do that, and neither does the Ringside Report Network. The views of AJ DeLesio do not necessarily represent the Ringside Report Network, Dave Simon, or Fred Garcia. Just so we're clear.
Well, it's for the ratings, guys.
So
You know
here
that.
are our predictions for 2023, and we were wrong in a lot of things. We were right for some things. Our predictions for the champions, right? We made predictions at the beginning of the year on who would be champion at the end of 2023 in every division for the UFC. So we started with the heavyweight division. Fred had predicted John Jones correctly. So good for you, Fred. I was incorrect. Or was I? I predicted Francis Ngannou, who technically still is.
He still is, man.
I mean, what is that? Fred, is that a win? Doesn't count? You won?
Nope. Yeah.
He's not champion.
Yeah. Once you leave the UFC, you're no more the champion.
He beat
Plus, he
Tyson
went
Fury.
boxing.
He's
He's
got
a
a point.
boxer.
He beat
Dimitri.
Tyson
He's a
Fury.
boxer. He's 0-1 at boxing in the last year.
By the way,
That's true.
listen, man. Listen, sorry, guys, to interrupt. I got to give a quick shout out to Mike Griffin, the ref that was at the fight for Ngannou and Tyson Fury. I spoke to him yesterday. In fact, he wants to come on the show. He wants to give his 2 takes on that fight. And he told me straight up, he goes, you know what? The Ngannou was surprisingly good for his first professional fight. He gave him a lot of credit. But he says when he got knocked down, Tyson Fury wasn't out. He just got woken up that this is a real fight. But yeah, so shout out to Mike Griffin, the ref at the Tyson Fury Ngannou fight. Yapping with him yesterday. Loves our show. He loves Ringside. He knows Dave, but he'd love to come on. So sorry.
All right.
That's
and
my
AJ predicted Cyril Gane would be heavyweight champion at the end of the year, and obviously he is
I was
not.
close,
AJ.
man.
It wasn't
No.
close.
I was off by 1 round, man. That's it.
One round where he got submitted by John Jones?
Oh yeah, no. I was. Yeah.
What are you talking
no.
about?
That.
He got
No, dude.
smashed.
I'm completely. I'm talking about the Ngannou thing when he was
Okay.
intern before that.
Great.
I technically won because he was intern.
We
You know
were
what I'm
all
saying?
wrong.
Technically,
We were
AJ
all
won.
wrong in our predictions for the light heavyweight champion. Fred predicted Magomed Ankalaev. I predicted Glover Teixeira, and AJ predicted Magomed Ankalaev as well. And of course, Alex Pereira.
How come you didn't
is-
take Ankalaev? You're the biggest Ankalaev
surprised.
fanboy.
I don't know. I don't know why. I can't remember.
I think there's an
But
error
Glover
there.
Teixeira. Yeah,
No,
there
there's
must
no
be an
error.
error. Dave must have been on mushrooms that night.
I mean,
'Cause I'm surprised I picked Ankalaev.
maybe
Why?
something had happened. Maybe he wasn't getting fights. Maybe Glover was just impressive. I don't remember what was happening at the end of 2022. He had that draw with Jan Blachowicz in December of 2022, so maybe, I just didn't see a path for him to become champion in 2023, which, he had one fight in 2023, came back in October, had a no contest with Johnny Walker with that illegal knee.
Yeah.
They're going to do a rematch. That's the next UFC event, by the way. Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker main event for a
It's gonna be
fight
crazy.
night coming up at the Apex, January the 13th, which should be good.
Poor Johnny.
So, all wrong for the light heavyweight champion. Middleweight champion, we all thought Alex Pereira would end the year as middleweight champion, which, of course, Sean Strickland. Like, who would have predicted that Alex Pereira would end the year?
I'm kind of right, Ben. We're kind of right because we all predicted Pereira would be the champion, which he is. We just
not wrong.
Come on, let's give us some points, man.
But Sean Strickland is the middleweight champion and Alex Pereira is the light heavyweight champion. That's a weird turn of events. You know, it's hard to predict at the end of 2022 that would be the situation at the end of 2023. You know? It's a weird
We
one.
didn't expect Pereira to lose to Adesanya, and then he went up a weight class. No, that's not what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Yep.
But we
exactly.
didn't expect
so we
it.
expected
exactly.
We expected Pereira to keep on beating Adesanya, and that didn't happen.
No.
Yeah, things turn around quick.
You guys both thought Kamaru Usman would win the rematch. I did not. I had Leon Edwards as the welterweight champion at the end of the year, and you guys had Kamaru Usman, which there's one for Dave. There's one. I got it.
Yeah, you got that one.
Slam dunk, easy one at 155. We all picked Islam to remain lightweight champion, which he did throughout the year very easily, just dominating everybody. And we all predicted Volkanovski to be the featherweight champion at the end of the year, which was also correct. He's still the champion at 145.
Yeah, that was pretty easy.
None of us predicted Sean O'Malley to be champion at this point in time. AJ, you thought Henry Cejudo would be. Fred and I thought Aljamain Sterling would still be the champion. Not the case. Not the case.
Listen, man, Cejudo, I thought he was going to come back and be a little bit more dominant and be able to regain where he left off. But, man, that didn't start and end well. And unfortunately, man, I was wrong.
And at flyweight, we all had Davison Figueiredo as champion. And, of course, it is Alexander Pantoja. So we botched that one up. As far as the women, we had Zhang Wei Li as the 115-pound champion. Correct all across the board there. At 125, nobody had Alexa Grasso. Fred and I had Valentina, and AJ had Manon Fiorot, and that did not produce. It is Alexa Grasso.
I'm pretty sure it's going to happen in 2024. That prediction of mine is still on, and she will be champion 2024. I was off by a little bit, but I am almost positive.
Okay. Well, wait. Don't give it away, AJ. We're going to do the 2024 predictions in a minute here, so take it easy.
You know what I'm heading towards.
Well, obviously. We all had Amanda Nunes remaining a bantamweight champion and featherweight champion for the women, which she kind of did. She retired as champion, and they haven't crowned a new champion yet, although they will on the next pay-per-view. It will be Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva for the women's bantamweight championship, and I bet you neither of you guys knew that. I think a lot of people are unaware of that title fight.
I knew that Pennington was fighting, but I knew Raquel, but I didn't know it. But yeah, that division is going to suffer a little bit for a while until it gets it will need another dominant champion for people to forget Amanda. At least somebody, that puts a couple of title wins in a row and becomes a little bit of a legit champ.
Let's get to 2024. You want to look ahead? Guys, 2024, who will be the heavyweight champion this time next year? I think I'll start off the bat. I'll start off the bat. Fred, you just said John Jones? That's a good prediction, but I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. Because
thanks.
He's going to fight in November. He's going to win. He's going to retire as champion, and then Tom Aspinall will just be the champion. So I think it's going to be Tom Aspinall in December. But, I mean, you know what I mean? So I'm going with Tom Aspinall. Are you going to stick with John Jones?
John Jones.
All right. I mean, that makes sense.
I mean,
but
do you see the comment from Patrick?
Aspinall is technically a champion at heavyweight right now.
If he wins in November, I'm claiming him as a win, as a prediction, man. November, December. I mean, come on, man.
I think either way.
He'll probably say I'll retire, but fighters never are honest with retirement, so I won't take it as a real retirement, and I'll just say that John Jones is the champ, the real champ, not the interim champ.
But I think if you would have predicted Tom Aspinall, though, as heavyweight champion at the end of this year, I would have accepted it. You know?
Yeah.
I think that would have been a win.
Aspinall's been very impressive. He's earned all the accolades.
Yeah. That Pavlovich fight was nuts. AJ, who is your heavyweight champion at the end of the year?
I'm going with the same way you said. I think Tom Aspinall is going to be the champion. I think he was,
not giving it to John
he's
Jones,
definitely,
clearly, AJ.
yeah, listen, John Jones, look, if John Jones is willing to fight, depending who he fights, I think he can retain the title. But I saw a comment coming in from Patrick, and he thinks John Jones will retire as the champion for 2024. I agree. I think he might have a point. Yeah, I think he has a point, because if John Jones doesn't fight at some point before July, the beginning of August, I think that's the end of John Jones. I think as we go into the latter months to the new year, we'll probably see John Jones retiring, depending.
I think he's gonna fight Stipe in November at Madison Square Garden.
Gonna happen.
He's gonna heal up from the injury. He's gonna fight Stipe in November at Madison Square Garden. He's going to beat.
That's a year from now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, he had an injury. He's got to come back. He has to have surgery. What do you mean? Look, he's going to fight Stipe. Right. AJ, whatever you say is nonsense right now, because what I'm saying is the truth.
It is.
He's going to fight Stipe. He's going to beat Stipe. And then he's going to retire as champion.
I don't think, to be honest, listen, hear me out. I don't think he's going to fight Stipe. I don't think Stipe is going to be capable of fighting after seeing this guy and the health issues that he has. He's got hip issues. He has a terrible time walking. I love the guy, one of my favorite fighters of all time, but I think he's gone past the point of fighting. The guy has some serious health issues. And John Jones, if he's going to wait till November, I think John Jones at that point will probably announce a retirement, walk away as the champion, cement his legacy as the best combat fighter. No, you know what? Because time is ticking for him too, dude. I think he'll walk away, and then the belt will be up on the line, and Tom Aspinall is going to fight somebody like Cyril Gane for the championship belt in November. And that's where it's going to happen. What
do you mean for the championship?
That's too far for Aspinall to fight, though, man. I hope Aspinall fights before November.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he definitely will fight before John Jones comes back and defends the heavyweight title. I think Tom Aspinall will defend the interim heavyweight title. And I don't understand why there's a new belt put on the line between Aspinall and Cyril Gane in your fantasy world, AJ. Anyways, you got Aspinall as your champion at the end of the year, and that's most important for these
Aspinall
purposes.
will be the champion.
But
I think
how about light heavyweight then, AJ? I think Alex Pereira will remain the light heavyweight champion through 2024. I don't think he's going to fight all that much, maybe once, possibly twice, and I think he'll probably win those fights. I don't see who at 205 is beating Pereira right now.
I'm gonna go against that, and sorry, Fred, unless you want to go first.
You go, man. You started.
Yeah, listen, man. I think Alex Pereira is a great choice to be the champion, but I really believe that Magomed Ankalaev at 17-1 will be the champion by the end of the year. I don't think Alex Pereira is going to be able to handle a guy like Magomed, in 2024. Props to Pereira, but Magomed is coming.
Yeah, Magomed is dangerous, and Pereira, of course, is going to have to get Jamal Hill first. That'll be the first fight for Pereira in 2020.
And just to make it fun, I'll pick Jamal Hill. We all have somebody different, so
I like it.
Yep.
I'll go with Jamal Hill, which will be a great fight against Pereira if it happens, man. Two guys that could knock each other out for sure.
Listen, man, 12-1, man. He beat Glover Teixeira in his last fight. If it wasn't Magomed there, I'd probably go with Jamal Hill as a possible, champion. But Pereira is always dangerous, man. We just got to see how he does in 2024. Remember, he's getting older, right?
Yeah, for sure. And Jamal Hill is a really good pick. I think the Pereira fight is winnable for him. How about middleweight, AJ? You start us off in this one. Who's your middleweight champion at the end of 2024? Can Sean Strickland survive the year? Can Sean Strickland get past Dreykus? Who's your champ?
I'm going with Sean Strickland, man. Just for the action that we saw last Saturday, just for the fact this guy is not afraid to fight anywhere. Yes, he gets like a lot of heat, but this guy is super exciting, but he enjoys the game of fighting. That's the difference. George St. Pierre hated the game of fighting, legend of the sport. But Sean Strickland will be a legend of this sport, but he loves to fight. And the thing is that I don't see Dricus being able to take Strickland, which was like a really like, you know, an unknown guy and, you know, really an unpredictable guy. But man, the more you saw footage of this guy, the more you saw him fight, the more you saw his training camp, this guy, man, he walks around like a champion, man. And last Saturday, he kind of made it known to everybody that he's the lion in the house.
Okay. So AJ thinks Sean Strickland will be the champ. Fred, who's your champion at middleweight at the end of 2024?
Ah, man, I'm hesitating, man. I'm hesitating between the top three choices because I think Dricus has a chance of beating Sean in Toronto. I'm kind of leaning towards Dricus. I think he's a better athlete. I think that will count. But, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Izzy comes back and wins the title back. So I'm going to pick Izzy, man, to come back late in the year and get a straight title shot as soon as he comes back and win the title. So that's going to be my choice.
I love it.
Yeah,
we're going in
good,
different
man.
directions because my pick for the middleweight champion at the end of 2024, Khamzat Chimaev. I smash your boy. I kill everybody. Khamzat.
You'll be wrong on that one.
Khamzat is so crazy. He's going to crazy his way to the title, man. This guy, how do you stop him? How do you stop him?
He's good,
he beat
man.
Usman. I mean, he's beaten everybody put in front of him, and he's going to start beating more middleweights. I think 1 or 2 fights at middleweight, and they're going to give him a title shot. And I think he could beat a Sean Strickland. I think he could beat anybody anytime. He's crazy. He's really good, man.
Yeah.
You don't like
So
Khamzat? Khamzat is now a middleweight fighter, and I just want to see who can beat him at 185. Like, keep challenging him because it doesn't seem like he's beatable at this point.
I mean, he had a great first 2 rounds against an old man up a weight class in his last fight. I don't think that was that impressive, but yeah, maybe he's a possibility. But I said there's 3 logical choices, and I'm sticking to that: Strickland, Duplessis, or Adesanya, and I'll go with Izzy.
I'm going illogical.
Izzy.
I'm going illogical with Khamzat, and Lior likes it. Lior says Khamzat for champ in 2024 makes a lot of sense. I think it's going to happen. I think Khamzat is going to find a way. I think the UFC is going to promote him to that title shot, and things are going to get real interesting. Could you imagine Khamzat versus Sean Strickland?
It's going to be insane, dude.
The press
That's
conferences?
going to be just the lead up to that is going to be nuts, man.
Oh, my God. Give
It's
that
like
to
a
me.
Connor moment, man.
I don't think Sean gets past Dricus, though. To be fair, guys, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Dricus.
I'm leaning
Dricus-
towards Dricus.
Me too.
He's a beast physically, Dricus.
Yeah, he's a monster, and he's like tough as hell too. Sean Strickland's real tough, but so is Dricus. Dricus is like AJ says, a rockhead. You know, he's just
He's
like
a rockhead.
made of granite. Okay, how about welterweight?
But that's
Fred?
what I say about Strickland, man.
Welterweight champion right now is, of course, Leon Edwards. We saw him this past Saturday beating Kobe Covington. Does Leon survive 2024?
Nope.
It's gonna be tough, man.
I don't believe he will. And I'm going to go with Shavkat, who, like I said, probably gets surgery soon. Will be out a couple of months. And he'll be back also, who knows, maybe in 8-10 months, which is somewhere in 2024. And right now, his stock is very high. So, like, Bilal gets the next title shot. But other than that, there's nobody else really competing for contender. Like Gilbert Burns, I don't think he earns a shot anytime soon. Colby just lost. Steven Thompson just lost. Sean Brady's a good fighter, but he's not getting a title shot. I don't believe Makachev is going up in the weight class, so Rachmanov probably gets a shot before the end of the year and wins the title.
I agree. I think Shavkat is next. And what is that surgery you're talking about with Shavkat? He's injured he's got a knee injury?
Because he hurt it. Yeah, he hurt his knee. He said before that during his training camp for Stephen Thompson, and he said he needs surgery on it. So, and that he delayed the surgery. That he took the fight and delayed the surgery, but the surgery is gonna have to be done, from what I understand. So he's gonna be out a couple of months. I don't think it's super serious, but he has a knee issue to get fixed.
The man smashed Wonderboy Thompson on one leg.
Crazy, man.
AJ, he's obviously your choice for the welterweight champion at the end of the year, right?
Well, look, I'm looking at two possibilities, man. I'm going to go with Shavkat as the possible champion at the end of 2024. But again, I always have in the back of my mind that if, to all my Nigerian brothers, if Usman comes back and he's healthy and strong, I still think his 2 defeats to Leon Edwards were just bad luck. I think that if Kamaru Usman comes in early, he looks healthy, I think this guy could retain his title, man. Don't forget, Usman's there. You know, one of the greatest fighters that hit that division. Yeah. Don't count him out. If it's not, nope, he's there, man.
I mean, the first fight with Leon, he was leading on points until he got knocked out. And the second fight with Leon, he lost a close decision. You know, he's there. He lost a close fight to Khamzat in his last outing that he took on short notice, you know. Yeah. So you got who? Shavkat or Kamaru?
I've got Shavkat because I think, he's going to be in full top shape. He's ready to go. I just don't know where Usman's going to be. I can change my opinion. I'm going to say right now, Shavkat is the possible champion of 2024. But again, I might change it in January, February if I see Usman coming in and he's looking good.
Okay,
but you can't.
You can't change it. That's not how this game works. This game is.
Dude. I'm just gonna go with.
We make predictions.
Okay,
one night, one show a year. This is it. Man. This is our end-of-year show where we make predictions for 2024, and then at our end-of-year show next year in 2024, we'll revisit and see if we were right or wrong like we just did. And then we'll do the predictions for 2025 because that's how this game works.
18-0, I think he's on a roll. Like
here's the question. Here's the big question. Does anybody think Islam Makhachev drops the belt in 2024? Can we just say no and move on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
How about 145? Does Volkanovski survive the year? I don't think he survives his next fight. I think Ilia Topuria is going to be the next featherweight champion.
Oh, no, I disagree.
Yeah, me too, man. But mind you, he's there. Yeah. 14-0, man.
I think Volkanovski's going to win that, and I got him finishing the year as the champ.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going with Freddie on that, man. Aussie all the way.
Interesting.
But Topuria, like I said, he's 14-0. He's there. He's going to be making a mark in the near future, but I don't think it's going to happen again if Volkanovski is super healthy. And
I think this is the best time to fight Volkanovski. Coming off that knockout to Makhachev, best time to fight him. Short turnaround too off a knockout. That doesn't usually bode well. I got Topuria in that fight, but that's okay. That's a little preview for what we're going to do in February, and I'll look forward to the watch-along for that one where I can gloat and see Volkanovski get knocked out again and he retires, and then, Anyways, 135. Does Sean O'Malley survive the year, or does the UFC protect him enough that he could be all right? He's fighting Marlon Vera in his first title defense. He doesn't need protection. He's fighting Marlon Vera, Fred. He's fighting Marlon Vera. Why?
Because he lost to him once.
Yeah, exactly. He's not the number one contender. He could be fighting Henry Cejudo or Merab Dvalishvili, but he's not, because he's fighting Marlon Vera because he lost to him once. He could be fighting Corey Sandhagen, who just beat Marlon Vera, who's on a win streak, but he's not. He's fighting Marlon Vera. Makes no sense. The UFC is protecting him. They're trying to erase the win. This is the fight he wants. He thinks it's a good matchup. He knows what he did wrong. He's improved, He's going to win this fight, but whatever's coming next is going to be very dangerous for Sean O'Malley. He better hope
what's
it's Henry
coming
Cejudo.
next after?
It's the next champion. It's the next champion at 135, Merab Dvalishvili. That's what's next.
I mean, Merab's dangerous, but I'm gonna go with Sean O'Malley. O'Malley has surprised me a lot. I didn't believe in him, and in his last fight against Sterling, man, very impressive. Completely earned his title, and I got nothing bad to say about Sean O'Malley right now, other than no, I'm not gonna go there. But
Sean
anyways.
O'Malley 22. Sean O'Malley 22 is what I call him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Hey, to each their own.
Yo. All right.
Look, man,
so Fred's got Sean O'Malley surviving 2024.
O'Malley.
AJ, who do you have as a bantamweight champion at the end of the year?
Man, I'm looking at the number 14th rank in that division, and that's where I think, depending on how many fights he has, this guy is coming. If he gets a couple of good fights and he has that opportunity to fight for the belt, because I think he's going to surpass a lot of those guys in the top 10.
Oh.
Umar.
Let's
not forget Umar is right there, man. Nurmagomedov.
Wow, you still can't say Nurmagomedov. It's been years.
I can't say shit name, man. I can't.
Half the UFC roster is named Nurmagomedov, and you still can't say it.
I know, and that's
crazy.
It. That's why Dagestan is coming in that division, and he is dangerous, dude. 16-0. The guy beat Barcelos in his last fight. He's ranked 14, but like I said, if he has a couple of quick fights in the year, that guy can surpass a lot of the top 10, and O'Malley will have a damn hard time with this guy. If he doesn't fight, Umar in 2024, he'll retain the championship, but I'm going to go and take a wild chance. I'm going with Umar as being the champion by the end of 2024.
I like it. I like how bold we are with our predictions here. We're going wild because we've seen the results. We've seen the results from 2023, and it's like, man, anything can happen here. Things are wild in the UFC. All right, how about 125? I think Pantoja retains. I don't really know. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with Pantoja, and I'm just gonna say, some people complained, and he said he's sorry for his performance. I thought he had a good performance this weekend, man.
Yeah.
His wrestling was excellent, and it worked. And if he could do that to other people, man, he could be a danger, man. So I'm gonna stick with Pantoja. Very impressive this weekend, and I don't see anybody that sticks out as a real threat. So Pantoja makes sense.
I thought that was a very exciting fight. AJ, Pantoja?
Yeah, I don't see anybody in that division, overtaking him. I mean, he fought
Let's be honest, though, guys. Good. It's the division that everybody pays attention to the least. I don't know who's the contender in the division, because it's the flyweight division isn't really a featured division in the UFC. It's not something that they focus on. There's not a lot of stars in the division, That division is a division that needs star power. They need trash talkers,
Yeah, they need a Dagestani.
They need
there's somebody close. They have somebody that's there, ranked number 2, and that guy there, it could be a serious threat to Pantoja. That's Amir Albazi. He's 17-1. He beat Kaikar of France. We can't overlook this guy. This guy has the possibility to be the number 1 or be the champion by the end of 2024.
Oh, you know who I think? Can I change my pick now?
Go. Listen, go ahead. I haven't gave my pick, but I think I'm going to change it as well.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Who are we going to go with? Tagir?
I was thinking about Tagir. He's
I knew it.
Pretty good, man.
He's a beast, man. He's a beast. 15-2. He beat Cody Durden on his last fight. But don't overlook Amir Albazi, man. That guy, might be the champion at the end of 2024.
So who you going with, Albazi or Pantoja?
I'm going with Albazi.
I thought you said Pantoja.
No, you know what? I was just going with Pantoja.
Switch it up. Go with Albazi. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tagir. I'm
going with Albazi. Yeah, I'm going with Albazi.
I'm going with Tagir Ulanbekov.
This is the snoozer division, but I think Amir is going to make it a little bit more exciting.
Let's spice it up.
Tagir is there too, man.
All right, women's 145 division, I predict will not exist at the end of 2024. So how about that? You guys want to debate me on that, or just keep moving? Women's 135 division. I think Juliana Pena will find her way as the champion at the end of the year. She's going to get a title fight. I think she'll be next after Raquel and Mayra Bueno Silva fight. I think she'll be the next in line, and I think she'll win. So I got Juliana Pena again.
Go AJ.
It's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
Because I don't want to pick Pena because I don't know. She's kind of annoying, and Dave is annoying when she wins, so I don't want to pick Pena.
He went viral last week.
Nobody really stands out. Nobody really stands out.
Well, there is.
Exactly.
So it's
There's Mayra Buena Silva.
Go AJ.
She's right there.
She's good.
10-2.
Are you picking her?
I'll go with her also.
Yeah, I'm going with Silva.
All right. I don't think she gets past Juliana Pena.
But there's another name coming in there's another one from Brazil that's right there, ranked at 14. Josiane Nunes. Hanging at 10-1.
I don't think she becomes champion.
I don't think she's going to be champion, but she's going to be in the mix to be a very competitive fighter in that division.
I mean, the thing is if you're ranked 14 like Umar Nurmagomedov or her, like it's for you to jump all the way to a title shot within 12 months is a lot.
It's hard.
You got to be real active.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, women's 125-pound division, the champion right now, Alexa Grasso, defended her championship in a draw with Valentina Shevchenko this year. I don't think she'll survive the year. I think we're going to have a new champion. Do you guys have an idea of who I'm picking?
Yeah.
AJ, I think you know. I don't think Fred has any clue who I'm thinking about.
I mean, AJ's picking Manon Fiorot.
Oh, is he?
That's
okay.
Right. I'm going with Manon Fiorot, which I thought she would be the champion by the end of 2023. And I'm not deviating from that,
Oh, that's not who I'm picking.
I've seen her. I know what Dave is going with. I think Dave is going with Blanchfield.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Thank you.
I knew he was going to go with Blanchfield.
Yeah,
which is a strong possibility, man. She is. She's 12-1. She's super dangerous. But the thing is that I don't think she can stand toe-to-toe with someone like Manon Fiorot. This girl hits heavy. This girl hits hard. She has a strong, solid top game. Her grappling game is there. Manon Fiorot, in my opinion, is
not
going
as good
to be
as
the
Blanchfield's grappling game.
Oh, yeah, but she can't hit as hard as Manon Fiorot. And Manon Fiorot is going to put her backwards, man, big time. She's going to be able to stuff her takedowns, and she's going to make her life a nightmare. And I think she will be the next, champion, and she will be the first female French champion and a strong, competitor in that division. Erin Blanchfield, I think, will be her strongest competition.
Erin
but
Blanchfield,
it's not going to be enough to win.
12-1, 24 years old, undefeated in the UFC. It's a matter of time. She is
Fiorot too, Dave. 11-1.
Ridiculous.
Before the show, I told Dave, get ready for me to agree with you because I didn't really prepare. But this is one where I'm gonna I'm gonna hope Dave is right, and I'm going with him. Erin Blanchfield. I didn't prepare,
Freddie,
but AJ's choice is a good one also. But I trust Dave more than I trust AJ. That comes down.
They're both good.
You're probably right on that.
They could both wind up champion at the end of the year. I just think Blanchfield has more tools. I think Manon will struggle with the grappling of Blanchfield. And Manon, she's 33. She's still in her prime. But Blanchfield just, man, at 24, as good as she is, she's steadily improving in MMA. And she's just been dominant in every single one of her fights in the UFC. She's so good.
Hear me out.
Lior knew it. Lior knew about Erin Blanchfield. There you go, Lior.
Sure, Lior.
See, people are starting to figure out, hey, Erin Blanchfield,
She's serious, man. She's dangerous. But you don't know much about Manon Fiorot? Take a look at her. And just in my defense, I was able to predict French champions. I got Cyril Gane. He was up there. And I'm picking Manon Fiorot from France. This girl is unbelievable. I've seen her before the UFC. I'm telling you,
yes,
Blanchfield is definitely a serious threat, but Manon Fiorot is definitely going to be champion. And it's going to happen in 2024. I thought it was going to happen this year, but Lior says it's going to be tough, Dave.
Lior says no love for Arman Sarukian against Islam. I mean, I think that fight might happen in 2024, but I do think Islam gets past it. I think styles make fights, and I think stylistically that fight works for Islam. I think Islam could win that fight. It's tough though. Sarukian is definitely better than the last time they fought, and he's a monster. So yeah, that's a good fight. I hope they do that in 2024. And finally, at 115 pounds, I think Zhang Weili will retain. She was the champion. We predicted her to be the champion at the end of 2023 last year, and she is. And I'm gonna give her another year.
Yeah, she's gotten so much better, man. Like everything about her is like she's like a well-rounded fighter, man. Everything she does and like her focus, her game, like the spirit that she puts into the octagon when she fights. I mean, the girl walks and acts like a champion. It's hard to go against her. I mean, there's not too many. The only one that could be something could be Yan Xiaonan from China. She's 17-3, man. She beat Jessica Andrade. Her only serious competition could be someone from her home country from China. That's about it.
But I
don't see Carlos Esparza doing anything.
I think she's up for that.
It's going to be China versus China fight for the belt in 2024.
So I think Zhang Weili, champion.
Yeah.
Yep. There's talk that she might move up to 125 to fight Alexa Grasso at UFC 300, which would be cool.
Oof, that would be nice.
Right? That's a good fight.
Oh yeah, man.
All right, so we've done our predictions for 2024. We'll see how they all work out at the end of the year. How about recapping a little bit events that we saw in 2023? How about the fight of the year? I thought we had some pretty good fights this year.
Yeah, there's some nice ones.
Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards, UFC 286. The head kick knockout, the shotgun fight there. Max Holloway, Korean Zombie at the UFC Fight Night in Singapore was pretty awesome. Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko, UFC 285. But I think the fight of the year was back at UFC 284.
I agree, man.
My fight of the year, anyways, back at UFC 284. AJ's in agreement. I think he knows where I'm going. Back in February the 12th in Australia, Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski go to a decision that Makhachev won 48-47, 48-47, 49-46, a very close fight, a legendary fight. And I think when you start to see everybody else in MMA do the fight of the year, it's going to go to Volkanovski and Makhachev, right? How could it not?
I agree. You're right, man. I don't even want to say anything more. I mean, the only other fight that I can, in my opinion, that was super exciting, again, was the Shavkat versus Neal. That was the other fight that I was really impressed by, but definitely, Makhachev against Volkanovski is my fight of the year.
Fred? Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't prepare. So. But didn't Yuri had a great fight this year?
Yuri Prohaska?
Yeah, it wasn't or that was maybe the year
that was last year, I think. Yuri only fought once this year against Pereira.
And he lost. Okay.
Yeah.
So cool. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I agree, man. Makhachev, Volkanovski, that was a classic. Nothing else comes to mind right now.
Yeah. How about knockout of the year? I mean, we saw a lot of people go unconscious this year in the UFC, some scarier than others. Josh Emmett knocking out Bryce Mitchell this past weekend. That knockout was pretty nasty. Of course, Israel Adesanya's knockout punch on Alex Pereira back on April 8th was
deadly.
Hell of a knockout. Max Holloway's knockout of the Korean Zombie again back in August. Islam Makhachev's head kick on Volkanovski in October was a hell of a knockout. My knockout of the year, though, is going to have to go to one of the knockout kings of the UFC, Justin Gaethje, for his head kick knockout of Dustin Poirier back at UFC 291 on July 29th. It was a thing of beauty, and it put Dustin Poirier to sleep, and it gave Justin Gaethje the BMF championship, and it may even get him a lightweight title shot at some point. I think Oliveira is next for Islam, but Gaethje you got to imagine is still in the mix there for a title shot. So Justin Gaethje with that head kick knockout is my knockout of the year. AJ, I just laid it out.
Man,
several knockouts. I mean, Israel Adesanya. I think for me it was between Israel Adesanya's knockout and Justin Gaethje's knockout.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm on board with you. The Poirier Gaethje too, man. That knockout was, in my opinion, the knockout of the year. For sure, I agree with you with Pereira and Adesanya. The second fight, again, another highlight. But there's also McKinney versus Bonfim. And those are the guys that we got to look at. The Bonfim brothers, man. Super dangerous. Guys to look at for 2024. Man, his knockout over McKinney, man, in UFC 283 was something. Again, don't forget that name, the Bonfim brothers, man.
Yeah. And, when we recap the year, a lot of year-end recaps in MMA, they kind of give you like, well, this was a really cool knockout for these two guys that you don't really know. I don't like doing that. I like giving you the best knockouts in high-profile fights that meant something. To me, the knockout of the year isn't necessarily the cleanest head kick or the most beautiful knee strike. It's the most perfect knockout in a big situation, because it's got to be important in the year. Just because you knock a guy out and it's really nice doesn't mean that it's knockout of the year in my world. You know what I mean? Yep, I like it to be impactful. Like when Justin Gaethje knocked out Dustin Poirier, it was in a main event of a UFC. It was an incredible knockout, and it meant something. It was a big fight. It was a big deal. All right, how about submission of the year? This one is a little tough.
I didn't even answer, man.
Oh, you didn't?
Whoa,
oh, sorry,
hey,
Fred.
Take it easy, man.
Sorry, Fred. Sorry.
You guys keep on going and not letting me talk here. But
well, I didn't know, all right.
I'm going to go with Makhachev, man, because that knockout of Volkanovski, man, I have Volkanovski. When you mentioned it, I just remember Volkanovski's face going down, going limp and all, man, and that was a pretty impressive one. And you talk about meaningful, man, and that's after their first fight where it was very tight, and you can't get any more meaningful than a knockout win, man. Knock out your opponent. There's no doubt about who's the better fighter, and Makhachev did that.
Yeah. Some big,
I like that. Yep.
Big knockouts and big fights, right? Like the Gaethje Poirier, like you just said, the Makhachev Volkanovski. When Israel Adesanya knocked out Alex Pereira, like, wow, that was crazy. Because, he had lost to him, and he comes back, bam, bam, against the cage. Like, that's a highlight reel knockout that we will be seeing forever. That's legendary. And I think what makes it even more impressive is that Pereira got knocked out this year, and then he went on to win 2 more fights and become light heavyweight champion. Like, Alex Pereira has had a hell of a year, and when we get to fighter of the year, I think we're going to have a debate. Submission of the year, though, Alexa Grasso's neck crank on Valentina to tap her out on March 4th was pretty impressive because, she tapped out Valentina Shevchenko, right? Like, that's kind of nuts. Brendan Allen rear naked choke on Paul Craig November 18th. Also very impressive because he tapped Paul Craig. He out-grappled Paul Craig. By the way, Brendan Allen is a sleeper pick for middleweight champion at the end of 2024. Don't sleep on Brendan Allen. He may be the middleweight champion at the end of the year. He's a very dangerous individual that's not getting a lot of play right now. He's not a very well-known MMA fighter, but he's on the rise for sure. Tim Elliott's arm triangle choke we just saw a couple weeks ago on Suma Derji when the guy's blood was flying out of his mouth. That was nasty. But my submission of the year has got to go to the greatest of all time, guillotine choke. John Jones tapping out Cyril Gann on March 4th at UFC 285. For sure the submission of the year because it wasn't just the technique. It was the fact that it was John Jones doing it to Cyril Gann that easily. The shock and awe of it all when it was over. The fact that he had just pinned him against the cage and grabbed his head and Cyril was tapping so quickly. It was unbelievable. It was another legendary performance from the greatest mixed martial arts fighter of all time. And for that reason, we must give the award for submission of the year to the great John Jones. And I will not allow you, AJ, or you, Fred, to tell me otherwise.
To ruin it.
That's the pick. It has
got
to
John
be.
Jones.
That's right. It has to.
Listen, man. You know what? As crazy as it seems, I agree with you, man. I think that was like the submission of the year. That cemented him. And I saw a comment coming in from Lior talking about, it's probably the fight of the year, considering that John Jones came back and, he's been impressive. And to be able to do that submission on a guy like Cyril Gane that I called would be a future champion before he hit the UFC, was super impressive. I mean, I had to be in awe with John Jones to be able to do what he did to a guy like Cyril Gane. Like, he made him look like as if he didn't belong in the UFC. That's the thing with John Jones. I get on his back a lot, but I do recognize him as the greatest martial artist of our time. No doubt about it. The guy is impressive. I'm not always crazy about his outside of, the octagon and his outside life, but he's gotten a lot better, man. John Jones has impressed me the last couple of years, and I got to say, like Lior said, it could be, one of the fight of the year, in my opinion, but it's definitely the submission of the year. And if I had to take a second one, which was pretty close, was the standing RNC by Shafkat over Neil. That was impressive, man. You don't see that too often, where a guy is able to submit you standing up. So I agree with you, Dave, but my number 2 pick, again, which is a big name, is Shafkat. That's why Shafkat is always there. He always delivers, man.
Yeah, Shafkat is fantastic. How about a pay-per-view of the year?
Wait, Freddie didn't do it.
Oh,
Wait,
Freddie didn't do it? No,
Freddie,
he agreed
man.
with John Jones because John Jones is the best.
Fred? All right. I guess we're all 3 in agreement, man.
Yeah, we are. How about pay-per-view of the year? Here are my pay-per-views of the year. UFC 284, UFC 285, UFC 291, UFC 294, and UFC 295. Now, those numbers mean absolutely nothing to anybody, so let me just recap for you. UFC 294 was the Makhachev-Volkanovski fight main event, which was fight of the year. Yair Rodriguez-Josh Emmett co-main event, submission triangle choke. Yair won the interim featherweight title. Jack Della Maddalena submitted Randy Brown. Justin Tafa knocked out Parker Porter. And Jimmy Crute and Alonzo Metafield had a majority draw that I remember was a pretty good fight, as I recall, but I don't know. So that was UFC 284, which I thought was a good pay-per-view. UFC 285 was John Jones, Cyril Gane, Alexa Grasso beating Valentina Shevchenko, Shavkat Rakhmonov beating Jeff Neal, Mateusz Gamrot beating Jalen Turner, and Bo Nickel beating Jamie Pickett. Bo Nickel could also be middleweight champion at the end of the year, guys. Like, could happen. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
What? No. It's like a thing talking to me. So that was UFC 285. UFC 291 was a very good card as well. That was Poirier versus Gaethje in the main event. A knockout there. Pereira over Jan Blachowicz in the co-main event. Derek Lewis knocking out Rogerio de Lima. Bobby Green over Tony Ferguson. And Kevin Holland over Michael Chiesa. That was a pretty good card, too. UFC 294 was Islam Volkanovski 2, Khamzat Kamaru, Magomed Johnny Walker, Ikram Aliskerov, Warley Alves, and Said Nurmagomedov Muin Gafurov. UFC 295, I think, is my winner, though. Let me give you UFC,
for sure.
UFC 295, I think, was pay-per-view of the year, November 11th at Madison Square Garden.
Forget the fight.
Yeah.
2 hours and 14 minutes.
Yes, and it was action, nonstop, great fights. Alex Pereira knocked out Yuri Prohaska in the second round to become the new light heavyweight champ. Tom Aspinall knocked out Sergey Pavlovich in the first to become the heavyweight champ. Jessica Andrade knocked out Mackenzie Dern in the second. Benoit Saint-Denis knocked out Matt Frivola in the first, and Diego Lopez knocked out Pat Sabatini in the first. It was an action-packed pay-per-view, and UFC 295 is my pay-per-view of the year. Fred's in agreement too. AJ, do you disagree? Do you want to throw in a different pay-per-view? We had some great.
I agree with
I think
you. That was
no matter
exciting.
no matter what, like all those pay-per-views I just ran down, tremendous cards, like tremendous. The UFC had a great year. I think 295 was the best.
man. 285 was good, man. 284 was good. Like, I mean, they were all like spectacular. I mean, like 295, like you said, man, was incredible. Yeah, I can agree with you. You know, like it's hard for me to pick one over the other because everyone had something to deliver. So I don't know which one is the best for me. They were all amazing, dude. It's a tough one.
All right.
286, man. It's like insane, dude.
Golden Tulip on Rumble says it will be Bo because Bo is on a roll. Bo Nickel definitely on a roll. Unstoppable, man. Finishing fights in 30 seconds. I think it's just a matter of opportunity for Bo Nickel. If he's going to get those big title fights, you know, he's got to get kind of up the ladder. He's going to have to get big fights. Yes.
Like, who's Khamzat fighting? Like, any fights for him have been announced?
No.
I mean, Duplessis and Strickland are fighting. Izzy's on a break. Oh, Nickel versus Khamzat.
Khamzat was supposed to fight Paulo Costa at one point. I would still like to see that fight.
I think that's still. Is that still getting done, or I think Paulo Costa announced something at some point.
Yeah, I hope they fight. It would be good. I know they got into it a little bit. Like, wasn't it at the hotel or something?
They all went nuts, man.
But yeah, I would hope to see Khamzat fight real soon. The Paulo Costa fight makes sense. It was supposed to go down. If not, Bo Nickel Khamzat would be real fun. I think at some point we will see it.
Beat him.
He might.
Bo will beat Khamzat, man.
I think he's got some of the best chances in the UFC of beating him for sure.
I agree, man.
Yeah.
This guy is unbelievable, man. He's the next man. Future star champion. He's a star already, but man, Khamzat better not take him lightly because Bo knows, man. Bo's gonna steamroll him.
It's not official, but Costa is reported to fight Robert Whittaker at 299.
Oh, where's Khamzat?
That'll be interesting.
Not sure.
Okay, fighter of the year, guys. Who is our fighter of the year? I'm gonna give you some nominees and some accolades that they have amassed in 2023, and you tell me what you think. See, I do the research for you here on this show, Fred. I'm taking care of you, okay? Justin Gaethje, okay? He is one of my nominees for Fighter of the Year. A majority decision win over the very tough Rafael Fiziev on March 18th, and then the knockout win of Dustin Poirier on July 29th. That's a pretty good year. That's a solid year for a top-level UFC fighter. Leon Edwards, the UFC welterweight champion, majority decision victory over Kamaru Usman on March 18th, unanimous decision victory over Colby Covington on December 16th. That Colby says he would have won had he not been a vocal Trump supporter, telling the Fox News people, and the Fox News people agreeing with him. He was on Fox News saying, like, I lost because nobody likes me because I'm a Trump supporter and the judges, it's all rigged against me.
All the UFC loves Trump. Like, everybody was under, like,
exactly.
Like, look, come on. Take it easy, man.
Yeah. Anyways, Leon Edwards had a pretty good year. He remained welterweight champion, defended the belt twice. Islam Makhachev had a pretty good year. He beat Alexander Volkanovski twice. Decision on February 12th, knockout on October 21st. Alex Pereira had a weird but very successful year. Got knocked out by Israel Adesanya April 8th. Then, on July 29th, turned around, got a split decision win over Jan Blachowicz, and knocked out Yuri Prohaska on November 11th to become the UFC light heavyweight champion. I mean, it's a pretty good year, right? Started off bad, ended off amazing. Tom Aspinall. TKO win over Marcin Tybura on July 22nd, then a knockout win over Sergey Pavlovich on November 11th to become the interim heavyweight champion. Alexa Grasso, a submission win over Valentina Shevchenko on March the 4th, then a draw with Valentina September 16th. But my fighter of the year may surprise you because it surprises me.
Oh, man, I got to hear. Listen, is it along AJ's route?
With 3 wins in 2023, undefeated, finishing the year as a world champion, Sean Strickland is my 2023 Fighter of the Year. A unanimous decision victory over Nasruddin Imavov on January 14th, a TKO win over Abus Magomedov on July the first, and then a short notice fight with Israel Adesanya where he dominated the former champion on September 10th to become the new UFC middleweight champion. Sean Strickland is my fighter of the year for 2023.
Good choice.
Love
Dave.
him or
Good
hate him,
choice.
you got to respect him. The man had a hell of a year.
Listen, man, he was like the guy that no one gave credit to. He came out, man, and I love Sean Strickland. The guy always delivers, like in the octagon, out of the octagon, man. The things he does, man, I love watching this guy. But he delivers, and that's the difference. I agree with you, and I'm surprised you went with Strickland. I thought you were gonna say Islam or something. I'm like, oh, Dave's gonna go with Islam. But Sean Strickland is my fighter of the year 2023. He still will be champion in 2024. This guy has it going, man. He takes the game serious. His training camps are like death camps. Nobody wants to spar with this guy because this guy comes out to always win. I'm happy, man. I'm glad you took Sean Strickland. I believe he's the fighter of the year, man. Good for him. Way to go.
I can't deny it. I can't, I can't.
There you go, man.
I can't deny it. I'm not his biggest fan. There are a lot of great MMA fighters out there that I enjoy more, but this was his year. This was definitely his year. Fred, are you making it unanimous? Who's your fighter of the year?
Yeah, Strickland makes sense.
Wow.
I mean, other than that, Makhachev and Pereira could get some consideration.
Yeah.
Pereira has a loss, though, so, it's hard to...
Yes.
It's hard to give it to him when Sean Strickland is 3-0.
Yes. I think, I'm looking at the other fighters, and I looked at Pereira, and I thought maybe Pereira, but he does have that loss this year, even though he has 2 impressive wins and he's a world champion. He did lose to Adesanya this year. And Makhachev beat the featherweight champion twice. Like, he didn't even beat anybody in his own division this year. Volkanovski is one of the best fighters in the world. I'm not taking anything away from him. But on paper, he beat the 145 champion twice and didn't actually defend against any 155ers in 2023. So, I think what Strickland did was more impressive.
I was checking also O'Malley, but he only had 1 fight in 2023.
Exactly.
Because if you ask me, like, who's become a star in 2023, O'Malley's become a big star, but he's only fought once.
Yep. That's it.
I saw.
That's it. I was, I think you have to have, a lot of fights. I mean, the more victories you have in a year, the better shot you have of being fighter of the year. Like John Jones is the best fighter, and he looked amazing this year, but it was just 1 fight. Sean O'Malley is the best bantamweight. He looked amazing, but it was just 1 fight. That's why, when I'm looking over the resume of the potential fighters of the year, they have to have at least 2 victories in the year. And Justin Gaethje fit that bill. The win over Fiziev and the win over Dustin Poirier, you got to put them in the mix just because they're such big wins. Those guys are very, very good at 155.
Championship matters.
Say it again, but the championship matters. Yeah, for sure. But I would say that, at 155, Justin Gaethje probably had a more impressive year than Islam Makhachev did. As far as beating top contenders at 55, like Gaethje put away 2 of the best. Leon Edwards had a hell of a year. But he couldn't finish Kobe Covington when you thought, this was not the best Kobe Covington.
Good at the end,
By the way, guys, everybody's saying it was the worst Kobe Covington they've ever seen. Who said it was going to be the worst Kobe Covington you ever see on Saturday night? Who said that shit? It was Dave.
Listen, man, it wasn't the worst. I thought he did well in the 5th round. You can't listen, man.
Yeah, but Leon fades in the 5th round. Nate Diaz almost beat him in the 5th round.
Yeah, I know, but that's it, man. Like, everybody's dissing on Kobe, but I thought he did pretty well considering, man. He came into the 4th and 5th, and I was like, man, this is going to be – he could take it.
He didn't.
People are on the edge of their seat there.
Sean Strickland certainly doesn't like Kobe Covington. Kobe Covington wants to fight Stephen Wonderboy Thompson for some reason next. We'll see. He's like the only guy in the history of MMA who has like a beef with Wonderboy. Like what? Anyways, Sean Strickland.
He wants an easy fight,
I guess. Sean Strickland is our Ringside Report MMA Fighter of the Year. And I believe that at some point this year, I went on a tirade about the dumb shit Sean Strickland said. I was like, this guy's so dumb, and why are we paying attention to this guy?
Funny,
and now I am calling him the fighter of the year. And, he's
You're a believer, man.
He's grown on
You're a
me a little
believer.
bit. He has grown on me a little bit. Some of the things he said,
Listen.
all that shitting on Kobe Covington, I was like, yeah, I kind of like that. I like how Sean Strickland is not like...
He's honest, man. That's what you gotta like, man.
It's
He'll
like-
tell you what he thinks.
It's like in
He's
wrestling,
not bullshitting you.
When you see
No
two
great,
heels, when you see two heels in wrestling, but then one heel's like, no, I don't like that other guy. That guy's not a cool. Like sometimes the heels, they all kind of side on the same side, but then one heel's like, actually, that guy sucks, and you're like, oh, I like this heel better than this other guy. That's what Sean Strickland is like. He's like the heel telling you the other heel sucks, and you like him more because of it. So Sean Strickland, fighter of the year, 3 wins. Not the most, like he beat Israel Adesanya, but the other 2 wins. I mean, if we want to argue here, he beat Nasruddin Imavov and Abus Magomedov. Like the level of competition. Tom Aspinall beat Marcin Tybura and Sergey Pavlovich. Alexa Grasso submitted Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah, Tom Aspinall is up there too, man. I agree.
Like Aspinall had a hell of a year. I would almost say 2 of his wins are more impressive than the 3 of Strickland's wins combined. It's just that he beat Adesanya so convincingly, and his road there was so improbable. But Alex Pereira, a lot of fighters had good years, but I think you got to give it to Sean Strickland.
I mean, beating Pereira is beating Adesanya is a bigger win than beating Pavlovich or Tybura. Like, yeah, Tybura and Pavlovich is better than the 2 other ones, but if you look at the 5 fights, which is the biggest win, it's him beating Adesanya. Oh, Strickland is earned that accolade.
Especially if you consider that Alex Pereira is another serious contender for Fighter of the Year, and he started his year getting knocked out by Israel Adesanya, the man that Sean Strickland absolutely dominated.
And I was talking about O'Malley becoming a star. Strickland is becoming a star also. So
yeah,
as far as star power, man, he's fucking grown a lot in the last year, and it's great to see.
I thought he was going to be a Mike Perry character, but all of a sudden he's a guy you have to take seriously in the UFC. I thought he was like, all right, he's kind of talking shit, making a name for himself, not winning the big fights, kind of in the middle, like staying in the middle of the pack. Eventually he'll get cut for saying some stuff and not winning enough fights. He'll go do bare-knuckle boxing or something, and it'll spiral out of control. But somehow he found himself as the middleweight champion of the UFC. He's attacking people during pay-per-views. But Dana White blames himself. He's like, I do the seating arrangement, and for some reason
he did it on
messed
purpose,
up
man.
and put Dreykus and Strickland that close to each other.
Yeah,
did he mess up? Did he do it on purpose
he did it
to
on purpose, man.
hype up the fight?
Oh, yeah, man. Everything
next.
is like a chess piece, man.
I got Dreykus,
For sure,
though.
man.
I really do got Dreykus, guys. I don't know.
Oof, he got clocked pretty good at that one, man, last Saturday. I'll tell you that much. Strickland gave him a couple of good shots there, man.
Dreykus didn't have a scratch on him, though,
Well, that's because like all the bodyguards like came in and saved his ass. But the thing is that I'm looking forward to that fight. Not taking it away from Dreykus. He's an amazing fighter and whatnot, very dangerous. But I don't think he has. I don't think he has it to beat a guy like Strickland at this point.
Right.
Strickland's only gonna get better, man.
Well, that is the next UFC pay-per-view. We'll do the watch-along for that, of course, and we will wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, because this is the final episode of Ringside Report MMA for the year. We'll be back on January the 4th to talk to you guys about whatever's going on in the world and fighting and so on and so forth. January the 4th is when we will be back here for Ringside Report MMA. We will be off next Thursday once again because I'm going to see the WWE live, which will be fun. I will be back with Johnny North, though, and we'll be on throughout the holidays. Johnny North and I back tomorrow night. 10 p.m. Eastern time for Wrestling Uncensored. A lot of CM Punk talk to get to. A lot of WWE action this week. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, LA Knight, Randy Orton. All sorts of stuff going on. The Royal Rumble is fast approaching, guys. So, when it's Rumble season, then you're on the road to WrestleMania. Let's go. Once the Royal Rumble hits, things get really exciting, That's when pro wrestling gets fun. All right. 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, right here on the Ringside Report Network. I want to thank Patrick C. Hamilton dropping the super chat. I want to thank Grimskull. You are the super chat leader of the night. Thank you. Shout out to all the members checking in. Angelo Contagonis, Leor, Grimskull, Patrick C. Hamilton. Join.ringsidereport.net. If you have not joined already, join.ringsidereport.net. Merch.ringsidereport.net. Go get yourself some Ringside Report Network merch. And I'll be back here tomorrow night. Guys, thank you. Happy New Year to you, AJ, and to you, Fred, and Merry Christmas to you guys
boys,
and your families.
Love you guys.
You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Fred?
Ringside Report, man.
And
Keep
Angelo
rolling.
drops a super chat. He says, what about my shirt, AJ? AJ has your shirt, Angelo.
I got your shirt, AJ. It's in a bag and everything. I even
Why'd you
sprayed
call
some
him
cologne on
AJ?
it. Did I say AJ?
You said I got your shirt,
Angelo.
AJ. You're AJ.
Yeah, I mean, AJ. Yeah, I'm AJ. AJ's got your shirt, Angelo. I sprayed some cologne. It's ready to go, man. When you get into that Uber, you're going to be smelling good.
God.
Because you got to make it smell good,
shirts. Dude. No, you just give a shirt clean.
I got some nice cologne. I got him like high karate on there, man. You think it's, that shit is old.
Sorry, Angelo.
It's a classic.
AJ will get you a shirt. You can wash the stink out of it.
Sorry. No. High karate. Hey.
Jesus. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right after SmackDown, right here on the Ringside Report Network.